Welcome to Pawpaw Storytime, guys. It is Sunday evening, about 5 o'clock or something. I don't know exactly what time it is. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving weekend. It was birthday weekend for us too. I know that Thanksgiving was good. Some of us were sick and had to cancel out on different things, but everything happened the way it was supposed to. Everybody got to see as many people as we could, and everybody's just trying to feel better, and we're just gonna move right on. So I don't have a lot of I'm not going to do the beginning and the ending opening readings from Fred Rogers and Richard Carlson like I normally do, because I got a lot of stuff to go along with the two stories that I'm going to read today. I did a little bit of research to go with what I'm going to be reading, and the reason I got the stories is because I reached out to some friends. It is the holiday season, and holidays are different for different people. Most everybody that I know, I think, is probably celebrates Christmas. I do have some people that celebrate Hanukkah. I am going to read a Ramadan story too, which is Muslim. It's Islamic actually, and I've got some things that I looked up so that I could try to explain without messing it up what these things are, these celebrations. And I'm just going to read some of the stuff. The first thing I did, this is my own thing that I wrote. If after Thanksgiving wasn't enough to kickstart the season, how about that snow we had last night? We're in it now for sure. The season of togetherness is here. The spirit of brotherhood, of gifts and giving. Gifts from the heart, not just from Black Friday or Cyber Monday. It's also the season of graceful receiving, and that's especially important to all the adults out there. It's a lesson within an example. Just be who you want your kids to be when they grow up. Anything less is hypocritical. Because we all know that whole do as I say, not as I do isn't a real thing that works ever, no matter the discipline. In that spirit, now I want to try to stay inclusive because of the Christmas stuff and because of some of the people that I care about and some of the things that are going on in the world. And I want to try to be respectful, so I looked up what I'm going to read before I do the stories. I'm going to try to stay loyal to that brotherhood that I'm on and on about all the time. Our first story is going to be Under the Ramadan Moon. Now, technically this year, Ramadan's not in our holiday season like Hanukkah is or whatever, so I've got stuff that's going to go along with these stories, some explanations for the four biggest beliefs systems around our area, probably the world actually. And then I'm not going to touch on every religious thing and I know that from Thanksgiving to the 14th or the 24th of January, I think somebody said there's 13 or 14 different holidays. So these should touch a little bit on or for anybody that might actually be watching this. Anybody in my friends list on Facebook and my grandkids, they'll fall into this category, as do I. I looked up explanations. I got explanations for Ramadan for everybody. Mainly, this might be more geared towards adults. And then I looked up an explanation that would make sense for the kids too, although the kids will probably understand some of this as well. It says, Ramadan is the most important month on the Islamic calendar. It's the month in which the first verses of the Qur'an were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. During Ramadan, Muslims around the world fast from sunrise to sunset. Why is Ramadan called Ramadan? Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, and it lasts 29 to 30 days, depending on when the new crescent moon is, or should be, visible. The Arabic term Ramadan connotes, which means it implies intense heat. It seems that in pre-Islamic Arabia, Ramadan was the name of the scorching hot summer month. In the Islamic calendar, however, the timing of Ramadan varies from year to year. This year, Ramadan will begin at sunset on March 22nd, give or take a day, depending on when the new moon is sighted. An Islamic year is roughly 11 days shorter than a Gregorian year, which I believe is like our calendar, like the one that we use today. I know this is Ramadan's March 22nd. I'm not going to reread this story at Ramadan, but I do have a closing because they're going to do this for 29 or 30 days. They did this celebration, this fasting. And I've got another story that was also referred to me by a Muslim friend of mine. And I'll read it around that time that they're actually going through Ramadan in the spring. It's a kind of a closing for it. It says, what is the significance of Ramadan? Ramadan is a period of fasting and spiritual growth and is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The others being the declaration of faith, daily prayer, almsgiving, and the pilgrimage to Mecca. Able-bodied Muslims are expected to abstain from eating, drinking, and adult relations from dawn to sunset, so only at night or after dark, each day of the month. Many practicing Muslims also perform additional prayers, especially at night, and attempt to recite the entire Qur'an. The prevailing belief among Muslims is that it was the final 10 nights of Ramadan that the Qur'an was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And then the kids version that I looked up, and then some stuff that I added here says, Ramadan. Muslims celebrate Ramadan because it's believed to be the time when the Quran, Islam's holy book, which is like Christians' Bible, was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Many families observe Ramadan with fasting, prayer, and good charitable deeds. And ever since I was a kid, I always referred to Islam as the religion of peace. Now, Under the Ramadan Moon by Sylvia Whitman. We fast by day under the moon, under the moon, under the Ramadan moon. We eat at night under the moon, under the moon, under the Ramadan moon. We speak kind words and stop bad habits under the moon. We give to the poor and read the Qur'an under the moon. We hang bright lights and bake sweet treats under the Ramadan moon. We visit friends under the moon, under the moon, under the Ramadan moon. We crack nuts and drink hot tea under the moon. We tell stories and laugh and play under the moon. Then together we pray under the moon, under the moon, under the Ramadan moon. We live our faith until next year, under the moon, under the moon, under the Ramadan moon. The end. I never read this before. There's a little bit in the back here that says about Ramadan. Ramadan is a time for serious reflection and happy celebration for Muslims. It is the 9th and most special month in the religious year. Since the Islamic calendar measures months by moon cycles, the date of Ramadan changes gradually over time. But no matter the season, Ramadan always begins with the crescent of a new moon. During Ramadan, most Muslims fast during the day. We do not eat or drink. We wake up before the sun rises for a meal called suhoor. And when there is enough daylight to tell a white thread from a black one, we begin our fast. All adult Muslims are expected to fast, although not all do, unless they are sick, pregnant, or traveling. Children practice with short fasts until they are ready for the full day, usually as teenagers. We go to work and school as usual while we fast. By fasting, believers build self-control. We clean up our act in other ways too. Some people quit smoking, others stop getting angry. Fasting is a way to purify our bodies and turn our minds toward God. Hunger also reminds us of the suffering of the poor. Islam requires believers to donate a share of their wealth to the needy every year, and many Muslims give during Ramadan. Prayer is another important part of Ramadan. Muslims usually pray 5 times a day, but we often pray more during this time of year. We go to the mosque and we read aloud from the Qur'an, which is the holy book of Islam. It's more than 6,000 verses. Although Ramadan is demanding, it is also fun. As soon as the sun sets, families sit down to iftar, the fast-breaking meal. We enjoy special soups and breads as well as pastries stuffed with sweet cheese or nuts. Friends and family visit and snack long into the evening. In the United States, Ramadan recipes and customs reflect the many different cultures Muslim Americans come from. Under the moon, we share holiday food, games, and traditions. Ramadan ends just as it began with the new moon. The 3-day holiday follows. Joyful Muslims gather in enormous groups for the first Eid prayer. Dressed in new clothes, we host friends and family at home, exchange presents for children. Thank God for our blessings, especially the strength to fast and pray. From Sylvia Whitman. Okay. I don't know if you guys go to school with any Muslims, if you know any Muslim kids or you know anything. And if anybody happens to be watching this, if you're a kid or if you're a grown-up, if I have made any mistakes or if there's something that you'd like to clarify or add, feel free to get into the comments. I would love to have people help. Okay, so this next one is, we're going to read a Hanukkah Bear. It's not in depth about the actual holiday, it's just a story that goes along with Hanukkah. But the Googling information that I found says Hanukkah, it celebrates a time about 2,200 years ago when a small army of Jewish rebels called the Maccabees overthrew a Greek-Syrian occupation of Israel. Hanukkah means dedication. After the Maccabees overthrew the Greek ruler, they rededicated the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Hanukkah is a festival commemorating the recovery of Jerusalem and subsequent rededication of the Second Temple at the beginning of the Maccabean revolt in the 2nd century BCE. Hanukkah is observed for 8 nights and days, starting on the 25th day of Kislev, according to the Hebrew calendar, which may occur at any time from late November to late December in the Gregorian calendar. The festival is observed by lighting the candles of the candelabrum with 9 branches, commonly called a menorah. One branch is typically placed above or below the others, and its candle is used to light the other 8 candles. This unique candle is called the shamish, or attendant. Each night, one additional candle is lit by the shamish until all 8 candles are lit together on the final night of the festival. Other Hanukkah festivities include singing Hanukkah songs, playing the game of dreidel, and eating oil-based foods such as latkes. This year, Hanukkah will start on the evening of Thursday, December 7th, 2023. It will end on the evening of Friday, December 15th, 2023. Each year, Hanukkah begins on the 25th day of Kislev, which is the 9th month of the Jewish calendar. And explanation for kids that I found, that I added a little bit to here. Hanukkah is a Jewish holiday that lasts for 8 nights and usually occurs in December. It is also known as the Festival of Lights. Hanukkah celebrates a military victory for the Jews over foreign rulers. I also read that although most Orthodox Jews don't give gifts each night, a lot of other families do, American Jews especially. How cool would it be to have 8 nights of lights, love, and gifts? And we're going to read Hanukkah Bear by Eric Kimmel. Old Bear smelled something yummy. Where was it coming from? It was coming from Baba Braina's house. Baba Braina. Baba Braina was making Hanukkah latkes for the rabbi. Baba Braina heard a knock and opened the door. Baba Braina couldn't see well, and she couldn't hear well. Baba Braina thought Old Bear was the rabbi. I'll take your coat, Rabbi, Baba Braina said. Old Bear roared, growl. Okay, keep it on, said Baba Braina. Old Bear followed his nose to the oven. Roar, he said. Wait, said Baba Braina. I must light the menorah before we eat. Will you say the blessing? Old Bear growled. Rum, growl. Oh, Rabbi, Baba Braina said. You say the blessing so beautifully. And now it's time for latkes and jam. Old Bear gobbled 5 big latkes all at once. Baba Braina laughed. You eat like a bear. Now be still while I wipe the jam off your beard. Roar, said Old Bear. After his big meal, Old Bear was very sleepy. It's time to go home, Baba Braina said. But before you leave, I have a present for you. I made it myself, she said. Baba Braina blushed when Old Bear licked her face. Old Bear shuffled out the door and into the night. Good night and happy Hanukkah, Baba Braina said. Baba Braina heard another knock. Her friends had come to wish her a happy Hanukkah. It's so nice to see you, Baba Braina said. But I don't have any more latkes. The rabbi came earlier and ate them all. But I am the rabbi, said a man in the crowd. Something strange is happening, Baba Braina said. Someone came by who looks like you, talks like you, and even has your beard. Just then the children cried, Bear tracks. Baba Braina laughed. Now that was a very clever bear, she said. Now bring some potatoes from the cellar and fetch my grater and bowl. If we all work together, we'll soon have latkes for everyone. Deep in the forest, Old Bear slumbered in his den. Pleasant dreams, Old Bear, and happy Hanukkah. The end. That's a cute little story, too. Now, these other stories are going to start next week. I'm going to read the Google stuff that I got. Next week, we'll read one short Merry Christmas, Mom and Dad by Mercer Mayer. One of the little, I think it's the Little Critter books. And then we're going to start, we did this last year, so this is going to start being our tradition. I'm going to read all of the Little House Christmas stories that are in here. I'll read 1 or 2 a week until we get to Christmas. But I wanted to read about Christmas since I read about Hanukkah and Ramadan. The first thing we have is Christmas. Christian festival celebrating the birth of Jesus. The English term Christmas, Mass on Christ's Day, is of fairly recent origin. The earlier term Yule may have derived from the Germanic Joel or the Anglo-Saxon Geo, which referred to the feast of the winter solstice. The corresponding terms in other languages, Navidad in Spanish, Natalia in Italian, Noel in French, all probably denote nativity. The German word Weihnachten denotes hallowed night. Christmas began to be widely celebrated with a specific liturgy in the 9th century, but did not attain the liturgical importance of either Good Friday or Easter, the other 2 major Christian holidays. Roman Catholic churches celebrate the first Christmas Mass at midnight, and Protestant churches have increasingly held Christmas candlelight services late on the evening of December 24th. A special service of lessons and carols intertwines Christmas carols with scripture readings narrating salvation history from the fall of the Garden of Eden to the coming of Christ. Now, the explanation for kids. Christmas. The best solution to grasp is the idea that Christmas is the day when Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus, and to encourage them to do just as they would on any other person's birthday. Think about them, celebrate their life, and be grateful for them. I also wrote that most, not all, but most, celebrate the season with love and togetherness, gifts, and giving. Just like secular Christmas, which this is where I fall. This is where actually I know a lot of people either fall in the Christian Christmas category or in the secular Christmas category. I do know some that are Muslim and some that are Jewish. I don't know if I know that many more. Secular probably covers most atheists and agnostics as well. This is the category that I fall into. Since the early 20th century, Christmas has also been a secular family holiday, observed by Christians and non-Christians alike, devoid of Christian elements, and marked by an increasingly elaborate exchange of gifts. In this secular Christmas celebration, a mythical figure named Santa Claus plays the pivotal role. Secular in contemporary English is primarily used to distinguish something such as an attitude, belief, or a position that is not specifically religious or sectarian in nature. For example, music with no religious connection or affiliation might be described as secular. Non-religious. Secular things are not religious. Anything not affiliated with the church or faith can be called secular. Non-religious people can be called atheists or agnostics, but to describe the things, activities, and attitudes that have nothing to do with religion, you can use the word secular. This is the explanation for kids. A secular Christmas. It says, explain to them that Christmas was a pagan holiday and was modified by the Christians from a very long time ago, and that now we celebrate it not as a Jesus-based holiday, but rather as a special time to celebrate family, friends, and community. It's that warm and fuzzy season that fills us with love and brotherhood, gifts, and giving. For me, I still recognize that good nostalgic feeling from my childhood when references are made to Jesus. Although he's not the reason for my season, he is a huge feel-good part of it. Secular, Christian, and pagan rituals for Christmas all share different elements with each other through the season. Okay. And then that's all the explanations for the adults, for the kids. We get to start all our Christmas stuff next week. I guess that's it. I don't have anything else. You're supposed to ask you, who did you help today, instead of how was school? But I could probably ask both. How's school last week, and who did you help? Do you have a story that you know? Guess that's it. just remember that our minds, just like our books, work better if they're open. I love you guys for being exactly who you're supposed to be, and you're the only person that gets to decide that. I love you. I hope you guys come here next week to see us. All right, bye.